to Ideas with Impact podcast. Today, I'm happy to introduce to you Paula Rios to the show.
Sí.
Yes, she's a food relationship coach and where she helps individuals break the cycle of bad body image. Welcome, Paula.
hmm Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
So nice to be here.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So we've met in I guess what November in Nicaragua,
Yeah.
and I think we had a lot of things in common, especially when it came down to nutrition and health. As
Mhm.
individuals and all that stuff. So, um, question to you would be because since we're on the topic of health, how did you come to the point of helping others in the journey that you're
Mhm.
on right now?
So, it all comes from the start of like my young adult life. Um, I studied food science and technology, so I was focused into the food industry, but in that moment, I had a bad relationship with my body and with myself, that I was not aware of. I decided to leave to Australia, work there for a while, live there for a while, and I fell in love with the kind of the relationship they have with nature, with exercise, and with food. And that led me to wanting to start study nutrition. So I came up with nutrition in that way, just because I fell in love on the way they had it in Australia. Came back, studied nutrition, and started working in the food industry. And working in the food industry, just as a researcher and developer, just made me realize how the food industry tricks us. There's so many things that I wouldn't say shouldn't, because my approach is with zero restriction, but it's not the best for our health to have daily or on a basis of our diet. Um, so being part of the food industry and still having this distortion relationship with myself and with my body, I decided to break through everything and heal myself. I said, okay, that's it. I can't be like this anymore. Um, Broke up with my boyfriend, my apartment, and this job, and I just left to become a surfer. Because that's, I don't know why, but I always felt the calling. So yeah, I just left, starting working in the kitchen, and that's when I realized once I was okay with myself after traveling for 2 years and a half, more or less, um, going through my self healing journey. Then I realized how when I was talking about my experience, a lot of other women would relate
Mhm.
and would tell me, "Oh my God, like I feel the same, or I have gone through this, I have the same thoughts." So that's when I realized that that's what I wanted to do, to help others overcome what I've been through. So, yeah, that's what led me to study emotional intelligence and then intuitive eating, and that's what I am now.
Mhm. Yeah, it's funny how that works because we've been I think we've always dealt with weight issue. Women tend to carry more
Mm-hmm.
issue because of the reproduction, creating humans. Um, but the body image has been aspect for a woman's development since very orange. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
as a young woman myself, looking through magazines back then, right? Because we would have to go to a store, buy a magazine. Nothing was online, and
Yeah.
at least I'm talking about my own age. Um, you know,
Yeah, I know that much, but yes.
yeah. And then I remember standing in front of the mirror and I would look myself and I would look sideways and I would be like sucking my
Mm-hmm.
stomach in and these images I think with me too have stuck for a very long time. Like I became a
Mm-hmm.
model and it's the same thing. Food was a huge thing. I wouldn't eat for a very long time. Like I would eat like a little bird kind of thing. I remember my mom used to
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, what you eat? You live on air? Like what's going on with you? You gotta eat." So I totally
Mm-hmm.
understand that. So in your words, can you explain what food freedom means and why is it so important for our mental health?
So, starting with the mental health point, I would say when you don't have food freedom, so the opposite of food freedom would be restriction. So, if you are restricting your body from oxygen when you are diving into the sea and you go out to surface, the first thing you do is take as much air in as you can.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what happens with restriction. So you are stopping yourself from eating something specific and creating the urge to eat that thing that you are restricting. So as soon as you realize, okay, I'm going to let myself go today, I'm going to eat that, then you end up eating way more than if you just allow yourself to have it in the moment. So that would be the opposite of having food freedom. Food freedom would be um, liberating from all this urge and anxiety that restriction creates. As soon as you restrict your body from something and mentally you are creating more and more and more urge, you're restricting something, then there's going to be the moment when you let go. Then it's going to be you healed. Then you're going to feel guilty, ashamed, whatever feeling comes with that. And then you're going to restrict again. So it's restriction, letting go, and guilt. And that's the cycle that with time can lead to an eating disorder or more severe causes. So, consequences, sorry. So that's the difference. Food freedom for me would look like I'm going to a pizzeria with my friends and I order a salad because that's what my body feels like. I order a salad because I want to, not because what I'm supposed to do.
Mhm.
Or I go to the pizzeria with my friends and I order a pizza and I finish it and I'm happy with it and I have no other thought anymore.
Mm,
Or I go to the pizzeria, I eat three slices, and because I'm actually satiated, I give the rest to my friends or I take it home.
mm,
Yeah. So making aware decisions towards food for me is food freedom.
mm,
And also treating food as what it is, just food.
mm,
Like food can be comfort, can be pleasure, and it can be an energy source.
mm,
But in the moment where a banana or a piece of cake has the same emotional charge,
mm.
that's when you're free. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Oh, I love what you just said. And I think once we
Mm-hmm.
connect these dots, it's going to be so much
Mm-hmm.
easier for ourselves to navigate through this crazy world
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to,
Yeah.
nutrition, diets, and everything, because we
Mm-hmm.
tend to focus so much on, for example, losing that weight. Yet we go, like you said, going on these restrictions where we deprive ourselves from eating these
Mm-hmm.
foods, and then we lacking, um, whatever we're lacking emotionally, physically, we depriving ourselves from these foods. And yet, yes,
Mm-hmm.
you go to a restaurant with your friends, they're all drinking and they're eating pastas and they're doing whatever, and then you're sitting this with tiny little salad, thinking in your head,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, I have to eat this salad because I will gain 10 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So these
Don't
kind
look
of
at it,
thoughts are
don't
just also want
work.
to avoid.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting. I remember, I think it was, what was his name? Um oh my goodness, Marcus Aubrey. Not sure if you ever heard of him. He had a very good
Mm-hmm.
point at one day. I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he said the relationship that we have with our food, it can be positive or negative. Once you set, let's say you're at McDonald's and there's nothing else to eat,
Mm-hmm.
that negative, thought can create a negative vibration in your body and negative effects in
Yeah.
your body. Will you will get sick technically.
Yeah.
And it's like, once you switch that, saying, you know what, there's nothing else to eat, and there's that McDonald's, I need to eat to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go and eat that McDonald's. You'll be okay. You're not going to die from it.
Yeah.
Don't eat it every single day, but like, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to have it once in a while if there's nothing else to eat, right? It's that negative positive
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two things here I would add.
Mhm,
One thing is that what I work with my clients is intuitive eating.
mhm,
So it's in a summary is to go back to basics. So eat according to your needs and to what your body wants, but always having a nutritional knowledge first. So this is something I get a lot when I someone is like contacting me to work with me or something like that. Then it's like, oh, but if I let go of all the rules, if I just eat what I want, I'm gonna eat something that is not healthy. But that is not true, because the first thing you work on is to getting your body back to balance. Once your body is balanced, it would ask for the best thing, because your body's natural, what do you say, natural intention is to survive and reproduce,
Mhm.
nothing else,
Mhm.
because we're animals. So biologically, you want to survive and reproduce. If your body is back to homeostasis, so it's balanced, then it would ask for things that are good for it. So the first step would be coming back to this balance, and then you can allow yourself to eat whatever with an awareness, because then you're going to be free and you're going to be doing the best for your body and the best for your mind and the best for your soul.
Mm.
Um, yes.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I forgot.
It's okay. We'll
What
talk.
did you say? Yeah. Um, Emotions, you said. So I work with intuitive eating, one block, let's say, and then what other thing that I mixed is emotional intelligence. So what you were saying is kind of the base of my work with my clients.
Mhm.
Um, an emotion. So we have like three components into how we feel.
Mhm.
Yeah. An emotion is the chemical reaction from our body to an external circumstance. I always use this metaphor.
Mhm.
Whenever you turn on the car, the lights turn on, right? There's like the oil, the brake, the door, the seatbelt. There's different lights. These lights only give you information. What you do with this information is your consciousness. So you are consciously doing something um, related to what information you got. So the lights would be the emotions. Emotions give you information about what's happening outside of your body.
Mhm.
And then you get a thought. So there is a conscious thought towards this emotion. And that's what creates a feeling.
Mhm.
So by the way you think, you can redirect how you feel. So obviously, not in every moment you can direct how you feel, or you need to sit with emotions.
Mhm.
But if you start becoming aware of these very specific thoughts you have towards food and towards your body, that's how you can get overcome this bad relationship with food, this bad relationship with yourself.
Mhm.
Because as you were saying, thoughts create chemistry.
Mhm.
Like this is how we work.
Mhm.
So by reframing your thoughts, you can reframe how you feel.
Mm. Those thoughts, I'm telling you. Women have so many thoughts, but you're right. It's like you said, is these three components, they're all connected, right? Yet
Mhm,
yet we live this kind of life of not knowing that this is what's happening.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does a negative body image impact our relationship with food?
I always say your relationship with food reflects your relationship with yourself. Um, think about a moment when you are happy, everything is like kind of rolling at its own pace. You feel good with yourself, your, I don't know, relationships are good, your work is good. Then you probably take more care of yourself. You eat healthier, yeah, basically you take care of yourself, no? You do sports, you get out, you meet with friends. As soon as you are not in a very good moment, you tend to eat more unhealthy,
Mhm.
go more for comfort foods or takeaways or whatever. But the relationship you have with yourself, with food, reflects the relationship you have with yourself. So that, I think that would be the thing that um, makes it more round.
Mhm.
But having a bad relationship with your body would mean, for example, there's different ways, no? But you can restrict, so you are not giving your body what it actually needs. That would then affect um, the biochemistry in your body, so you are not producing enough hormones. Your cycle can be lost
Mhm.
due through restriction because your body is trying to survive. So it's going to start turning off the things it needs the least. So period can disappear.
Mhm.
Then yeah, digestive system can be also damaged because you are not introducing what it needs. So there's a lot that can be damaged by having a bad relationship with your body.
Mm.
Mhm.
So so let's say the stress comes to you, like we all live in a very sometimes stressful life, right? On an everyday basis, you're in the car, someone cuts you off, you get upset. That's cortisol.
Mhm.
um, what's your recommendation, especially for women, to calm their system and to become more aware of, let's say, their surroundings and um, relationship with food itself?
So one, there's like a lot of different ways to work with it, but what I personally do is kind of a roadmap. So first thing you have to do is to work on your self-awareness. How do you think? How do you feel? How do you act? How do you react? Once you get to know yourself, so self-awareness is on point, then you will be able to form your self-concept. You have a concept of yourself, a perspective. But if you base this self-concept in what you want and what you like and what you accept, then you're going to have a positive self-esteem because you are being who you want to be. And once you get a healthy self-esteem, then you can get to self-realization, with which with for most humans is happiness. Happiness can look in different ways for everyone, um, but the base point is always self-awareness. That's what I work on. That's what I work on
Mhm.
through different exercises. Also depends on the person.
Mhm.
Um, but one thing I recommend to do is start by noticing body sensations. So, a super easy exercise is to try and feel your heartbeat without touching any part of your body. And this is something that you can do when you are in a queue in a supermarket, if you are in the metro, if you're having a conversation with someone and then you remember, if you are sitting somewhere doing nothing, if you're watching TV, if you're working. Um, Try to feel your heartbeat without touching any part of your body, and that's going to start creating a sense of interoceptive awareness, which is understanding, becoming aware of the signals your body is sending, like body sensations.
Mhm.
So that will be a start, but there's so many different techniques to calm down.
Mhm.
But I would say first become aware of what triggers you. And then when you know, you can start like using different techniques for different moments.
Breath work,
Breathing,
meditation,
drawing.
mhm,
Yeah,
walking up in the
exactly.
nature, connecting with
Exactly.
yeah, the outside
Mm-hmm.
world kind of thing in a calm way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of brings you back into that homeostasis
Mm-hmm.
to relax your
Yeah,
body. Yeah.
exactly.
Very well said. I like
One
that.
thing that,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I was gonna say one thing that really worked for me
Hmm.
once I did all my work was to draw naked women. I used to love it because that's something I never heard anywhere else, but I do recommend to observe naked women bodies from another perspective. So the fact of just drawing line by line,
Hmm.
doing all the shades, gave me the perspective of like separating that from a body itself. And I would take all the judgment away because it was lines, and at the end it was a very beautiful drawing. So observing other women's body from a different perspective also helped me changing my perspective.
Mm. That's a good point. So this will bring me to a question of why
Hmm.
there's 7 out of 10 women that are dissatisfied with their bodies. 7 out of 10. That's a big
Yeah,
number.
it is. I used to ask myself the same question, like, how is this possible? Why is this happening? And I actually had a lot of debates with my boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
about this. Um, but I think basically is how society is built. We have this pressure of like being sexy, being perfect, being thin, but then you are too thin. But then, so first thing I would say is adverts, TV. If you go back to watch TV, like the 80s, 90s TV, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you remember the Special K cereals, but they were literally promoted to have a flat stomach. And I grew up watching that in TV. So I would always look at my stomach and see that it's not flat.
Mm-hmm.
um, but then also comments at home coming from older generations from that, like for sure everyone has heard their mom saying, "Oh my God, these jeans make me look fat,"
Mm-hmm.
or "If I eat that," or "That's too high calorie," or there's always comments. So I'm gonna take advantage of this question
Mm-hmm.
and talk about the 5 second rules because that's something that changed mm, a lot in me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how to take a comment on your body and on your looks or on what you eat, what you're eating, that can help you changing the moment from frustration or like a downfall to empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do whenever I hear these comments, which is a big part of why there's 7 out of 10 women dealing with with body image, in that moment you can just say, "Look, this is the 5 second rule. It means if what you're gonna tell me can be changed in 5 seconds, like I don't know, you have a boogie or your t-shirt is inside out
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, you have something here, then you take it off. If in 5 seconds I can change it, then you say this comment. But if it can't be changed in 5 seconds, then keep this comment in your pocket, and that will help you feeling empowered in that moment because you are raising awareness about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
You are setting a boundary. Look, I don't like to receive these comments. I am working on this, and this comment doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's something I do a lot whenever I hear these comments, and it helps raising awareness about the topic.
That's very good because again, we are bringing these young women, even today, because
Mm-hmm,
social media is so impactful, and especially with all the AI. I
mm-hmm,
actually had a discussion with someone the other day, and I'm like, what happened to the real photography now of women, of beautiful women? I mean, don't get me wrong,
mm-hmm,
all women are beautiful women, but like in modeling and all that stuff, you have
mm-hmm,
images and all that stuff. But I'm like, now everything is AI. Everything is the
mm-hmm.
perception on the other side is completely different than what the reality is, you know? And
Yeah,
I think we have to somehow, again, pivot, like you said, it's our emotional, psychological change that we cannot be distracted by this crazy social media
yeah,
stuff. The TikTok of the world kind of thing, the two
yeah,
second TikTok moves or facial.
yeah.
But I like
Yeah,
that.
sometimes I feel like we're back. Yeah, sometimes I feel like we're back into like not back, but like we're into a Black Mirror
Mm,
episode. I don't know if you've seen that, but for me, that's crazy. But I also have faith, and I feel like at least my generation
mm,
or people that I meet when I'm traveling, surfing, so there's a big community of people that it's kind of going backwards. So going more outside, trying to limit um, the screen time or using the screen time into something that is actually beneficial or like you learn.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know if that's my take, and that's because of course, you attract people that's similar to you, something like that. But um, I believe that there is a community that is going a bit backwards
Mhm,
and taking a step back with all of this.
mhm.
I hope so.
Yeah, like attracts like. And
Yeah, exactly.
I think like too there's a big shift happening, and
Mm-hmm.
you are in Europe. Is it the same in
Mm-hmm.
Europe that's happening, what it's happening in North America in terms of the pivot when it comes to health and self-awareness and all the things that are happening?
I
You see that?
I'm not a no, I'm not aware of what's happening up there. Basically, I don't have. Well, my parents have a TV, but I'm not used to watch TV, so I don't know if it's
But
what's
from your
happening.
observation being there, do you see that, or
Mm.
you don't see what's
Um,
happening?
people is yeah, people is more aware here now.
Okay.
Um, I think it's a common conversation topic, so that invites people to learn more about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I definitely see a shift if we look, I don't know, 5 years or 10 years ago. I think from COVID, when there was this like veganism and vegetarianism
Mhm.
kind of fashion, everyone would become me too. Um, I think in that moment a shift happened, and that has been continuously
Mhm.
happening. People started looking more in detail into food industry, into what am I actually putting into my body and what the screens
Mhm.
are doing into my brain. So yeah, I definitely feel like there is a shift if we look from like 10 years ago.
Mm. That's perfect said. I think that
Hmm.
I've seen it too. I've seen it happening as well. So
Hmm.
that's positive in the seeing that
Yeah,
change. So yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Can you share your thoughts on what constitutes a perfect size portions for just
Hmm.
regular individual? Because I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of
So
misconception of how much you should eat.
yeah, exactly. Um, Basically, the perfect portion for you is the one you start eating when you're hungry and you stop eating when you're satiated, not full.
Mm,
Um, there's a difference in between being full and being satiated. Being full means that the capacity of your stomach is full. Like your stomach reached maximum capacity. There's nothing else that can go in. Um, but feeling satiated means eating what your body needs. So you don't need to eat for a longer period of time. What I would say, like well, an easy way to explain is filling up the tank of your car with water.
mm,
So it's full, but it can run,
mm,
or filling it up with gasoline. Then it's full and can run, and you won't need to refill it until it's empty.
mm,
Yeah, or half empty or whatever. So to work on your portions, I would say first experiment, and second, always how do you say, question yourself. Because me personally, I'm not gonna eat the same portion when I'm here at home and there's no surfing, or when I'm living in the campsite, like in the surf camp I work in the summer, or in Nicaragua and I'm surfing 3 hours
mhm.
a day. So the portions vary, like they change depending on your daily activity.
Activities, yes.
So exactly. So the best portion for yourself is the one that you start eating when you're hungry and you stop eating when you're satiated. So how to discover um your satiety point or the portion you need to eat? I would recommend getting a bit in touch with intuitive eating. If someone wants to reach me,
Mhm,
they can.
mhm,
Perfect. But there's a hunger scale from 0 to 10. So 0 being super empty and 10 being so full you feel sick. The best thing would be start eating when you are about a 3 or a 4 and stop eating when you're a 6 or a 7.
mm,
So you are comfortably hungry and you are comfortably full, but you're not still hungry or you are not too full that you feel uncomfortable.
mm.
The portion will vary, will change
And
depending
also
on the
depends on the person, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
What's your input on fasting?
Um, I'm not an advocate for fasting.
Hmm.
I believe fasting is another tool in your toolbox. I think there's so many different tools you can use, Fasting is good from time to time if you feel that there is something that's not working perfect and you feel like having a break, then of course do it. But especially for women, there is part of the cycle that it's not very good to be fasting because your body needs the energy to prepare for the menstruation. So I wouldn't recommend fasting being a woman without proper support. So I'm not an advocate for that. If you are not hungry in the mornings or whatever, then good. But I think for me, it's just another tool in the box to bring out whenever you are supported or when you have the right information for it. I've tried it as most of the women around, but it didn't work for me because I'm just too hungry and I move a lot.
Mm.
So for me, it didn't work.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Not when I do workout. I
Mm-hmm.
think when I do my workout, my
Mm-hmm.
body is like, no, you need food. So I
Yeah,
tend to like when I,
exactly.
yeah. So when I do like weightlifting, I usually have
Uh-huh.
my protein. I do my workout,
Mm-hmm.
then I have my shake or I have something to eat to fuel
Uh-huh.
again and to help the muscle grow. But when I don't do
Yeah.
anything, like yoga, like I can do yoga without food. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
was at Grace's,
Yeah.
I didn't like she was on a special um,
Yeah.
program, and I was totally
Yeah.
fine, and I actually enjoyed it. But like when I
Mm-hmm.
do CrossFit or I do like very impactful workouts,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass out. I know my body by now.
Yeah.
It's like food, please.
Yeah. I have the same thing. I can't, for example, go to the gym on an empty stomach because I would pass out, but I know I surf better on an empty stomach. If the surfing is really early, like in Nicaragua, we would wake up at 5:30 to go surfing, then I wouldn't be able to eat anything because when I'm not hungry, if I have a coffee on an empty stomach, then I have anxiety, and that's like
Mm,
my particular body, but I do know that, so I don't do it. So yeah, for me, I can serve on an empty stomach, but the serve will be as long as I'm not hungry. As soon as I start thinking about food,
yes,
then means I'm hungry, then I have to get out of the
yeah,
water. Um, which sometimes is not good because waves are amazing, but
yeah.
yeah, so I can't train on an empty stomach,
Mm.
but I can't surf on an empty stomach, and I actually prefer it. So
Because you don't
then
feel
we would
heavy.
considering fasting.
You don't feel heavy. You don't feel out of breath, right? Because it's like you want to be
Exactly.
focused. So yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger? I think we touched a little bit based on that, but if someone has a really
Hmm.
difficult time, uh, make the difference between these two.
Yeah. So physical hunger is not well, I'm gonna start with the other one first. I think it's easier to understand. So emotional hunger is fast, like you need it now. It has to be eaten super in the moment. Um and your body is not actually giving you any signals. But I would think the best way to differentiate it is the urge of eating. If it's emotional, you want it now and you want something specific. If it is physical hunger, you can practice at the beginning with a hunger scan, sorry.
Mhm.
So you can take pay attention to how is your mood. Are you a bit cranky? Are you happy? Are you distracted? Your mood is one indicator of hunger. Your energy levels, if you are tired and it's not because you need to sleep, then probably you're hungry.
Mm,
Then physical sensations. So how does your stomach feel? Does it feel empty? Does it feel neutral? Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Is your mouth salivating? Are you thinking about food?
mm,
You have a light headache. So how does your body physically feel? That can be also signs of hunger. So first thing I would do to differentiate is always asking yourself, am I actually hungry? Do I have any of these signs? How urgent is it to eat? Do I need this now? or can it wait? Um, and then like, what do I actually need? Because if there is emotional hunger, you are maybe bored, or you are sad, or you are
Mm,
ashamed, or there is something there happening. So what do you actually need that it's not food? That would be, yeah, I think that would be it.
exercise, going for a walk.
Yeah, but that, I think that would be, I mean, if it's a craving and if you have emotional hunger,
Mm,
there is three ways kind of to go with it. One is to eat it, and that's it, because there's also no problem on that. Something that you eat once, it's not gonna change everything you've been working on.
right.
Um, Second one would be finding a distraction. So there it would be going for a walk, cleaning the house, I don't know, watching a movie, writing, drawing, whatever. But knowing that a distraction would be temporary. So it's not solving the problem because the craving is still going to be there.
Yeah.
Um, and then third one would be to actually going, like sitting with the craving, getting to know what's happening, getting to know what do you need and how can you act on that. So thinking if it is actually worth it to have the craving,
Mm,
or if it's worth it to dive deep into that.
mm,
So there's three ways you can approach it. And probably the one would be the first one, and the second one would be the third one. It's gonna be different depending on the craving, and what the emotional situation is and all of this. Um, But I would recommend at some point, whenever you're ready or the person is ready, then to go through what's actually happening. What do I need?
mm. What kind of stress they're in,
Mm-hmm.
of what's going on about it. So basically, again, connecting with yourself
See.
just to kind of see
Uh
what's
huh.
going on. Yeah. Yeah. Eh,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're on your phone and you're, let's say, reading something. And sometimes I find it too that you have a thought, let's say, of food, because we're talking about food right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, literally a couple seconds later, you see this commercial pop up coming up with food.
Yeah.
And you're like, you said, you're like, oh my goodness, I want this right now. I am so wanting this right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, these
Casualties.
ads really play huge tricks on us.
Yeah. Yeah. We are literally bombarded with information all the time. So I
Are.
think that's one of the causes of why, um, when a baby is hungry, it cries.
Mm,
And when it's having the milk from the mom, if it's full, it's impossible to give more milk to the baby.
mm,
Like the baby won't eat anymore when it's full. So why, as we grow up, we stop being so in tune with these hunger and satiety cues. Um, Mostly food is available for us all the time,
24/7.
everywhere.
Mhm,
You constantly see food everywhere on your phone. You walk on the street and there's restaurants. You go to the kitchen, there's food there. So I feel like the way our world works made us disconnect from our nature,
mm,
um, natural way of eating and stopping to eat.
mm,
So yeah, these ads that you mentioned have a lot to do into that, I think.
mm. But that's why I personally love intermittent fasting, because for
Mm-hmm.
me, it teaches me and teaches my body saying you don't need this
Mm.
food right now. You're okay to go through the
Uh-huh.
process of not eating all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because we are so bombarded with so many food ads and so many
Yeah.
restaurants. You go in the street and use carts of different kinds of, smell delicious foods. And I love food. I'm a big foodie
Yeah.
myself. Um, but it's like we don't give our liver a break because we're constantly
Mm.
consuming, right? So it's like our liver
Yeah.
sometimes get overworked and it doesn't have that
Mm-hmm.
time to regenerate and detoxify. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
love intermittent
Yeah.
fasting. It's not all the time, but like once, twice a month, what I'll do is I'll go through it um,
Mm-hmm.
to give my liver a break. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nice.
But also
Yeah.
self-compassion. I think that's what also
Yeah.
is missing, right? What's your intake of
Hmm.
self-compassion?
But that's something I also work on during my program. So the it's related to what I was saying before.
Mhm.
Um, what you tell yourself, the way you talk to yourself in here has an impact in your body. So if you start treating yourself with self-compassion, I feel like this is something that has been overused in social media by like everyone is talking about it. So I feel like the word lost some of the impact, some of the respect. When something is overused in social media, you feel like, oh yeah, that's something everyone is saying, as same as listen to your body. No, I feel like listening to your body and treating yourself with self compassion have lost some of the, what's the word for this? It's not importance, credibility. That's it, credibility. But it is very important, and it's mostly working through allowance. So giving yourself permissions to do some stuff. Like you can't make mistakes, and that's fine, and that's how you're gonna work. You allow yourself to eat that piece of cake that you want, or that pizza that you want, or three bananas, or however dates you want. You can
Don't beat yourself
do
over it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So giving yourself permission is a way of self-compassion.
Mhm.
Um, Thinking about achievable goals is also self-compassion. Forgiving yourself for something you did in the past is also self-compassion. Um, Not going to the yoga class because you're tired or you had your period or you had a bad day, it's also self-compassion. And choosing to go or forcing yourself to go because you know it's going to feel good with your mind, that's also self-compassion. So there's so many ways of it, but I would say the best way to put it is towards permissions.
Mhm.
So like you can allow yourself to whatever you need to allow yourself for,
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
then slowly develop a healthier relationship with the food that you're eating because that's very
Hmm.
important, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
yes. So
Hmm.
mindfulness, what practice would you or what kind of practice would you suggest for individuals who are like literally struggling with food related issues? Or how can
I would say
mindfulness work in that?
help.
Okay.
Um, I would say like mindfulness. It's something I don't practice like that much as it is.
Mhm.
I call it self-awareness. I don't know, maybe it's just the way I started and all of this. So I give a lot of importance to questioning yourself. So if someone is struggling with food, there's probably something else behind.
Mhm.
So what I would start doing is questioning yourself every time you're going to make a decision. So we have, in average, people eat 3 times a day. So you have 3 times a day to decide to make the right choice.
Mhm.
Yeah. To decide something that will be beneficial for you. So this kind of mindfulness or self-awareness practice that I would recommend is to start questioning yourself. If you find yourself opening the fridge in an automatic pilot, pay attention to that moment and ask yourself, what do I really want? How is my body going to feel if I eat this? And how is my body going to feel if I eat that? Then ask yourself, am I really hungry? How hungry I am? When you are in the middle of the meal, you can stop for 5 minutes, check in with your body. Am I still hungry? Do I want more? Or if you finish your plate, you can ask yourself, am I still hungry again? Do I want a second plate? Or I'm not hungry anymore, I can put it in the fridge.
Mhm.
Um, so practicing questioning yourself is going to give you this awareness that you need to maybe identify that something is happening or that you don't know how to eat or you don't know what feels good for your body, what doesn't. Um, so questioning yourself and then always reminding, like keeping in mind these two. mantras.
Mm,
One is food is always available for me,
mhm,
so I can actually choose. And the second one is I can always eat more, and that sorry, that would take away the urge and the pressure to either finishing your plate or not eating the whole thing to keep it for later.
mm.
So food is always available for me. There is I can always eat more, and questioning yourself. Those are the three main things I would recommend to start paying attention
What
to.
about journaling? What's your thought on journaling?
I love it, but I feel like it can feel as a chore
Mm,
sometimes. So it depends a lot on the person. I personally have this notebook that I actually have here. That's I do bullet journaling.
okay.
So it's funny because I used to be the most unorganized person. I swear, unorganized. I was negative. I was like beating myself up. I was so insecure. So so this helped me so much.
Mhm,
And what I do here is I've been doing it 3 years now,
mhm,
and what helped me the most is basically gratitude. So during the month, I daily write things I'm grateful for during the night
mhm,
before bed. It takes literally 1 or 2 minutes. Um, I kind of track some habits I'm working on. So drinking a lot of water, not using the phone before bed, being consistent with my
mhm.
workouts, finishing my to-do list. So it's helping me a lot. And then I track my mood. So I also, but this is like personal, but
Yeah.
this is what I do. So this is my kind of journaling.
But it's important to start somewhere, right? Those are tiny little
Yeah.
steps that someone can make to
Hmm.
these self awareness, like we were talking about earlier, right? To actually really connect
Yeah.
those two. Because without it, like you said, when you have chaos around you, you won't be
Hmm.
able to notice these things. So
Exactly.
prioritizing and really putting it down on paper. Um, and again, I
Hmm.
think it comes down to of what someone really wants, right? Do they really want to
Hmm.
achieve those things, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's an emotional, like we were talking about earlier, um, thing that people sometimes fight. And I always say too, it's like if you fall through and you don't, if you have that one day or that one week of not following,
Hmm.
the healthy eating, or it's okay, don't beat yourself over
Hmm.
it, right? Don't feel guilty, right? So
Yeah.
that question will bring me, what advice would you give to someone who does feel guilty after eating certain foods?
I would again ask, what is it that this person needs? Normally, when you have a problem with your body, it's normally not your body. If you have a problem with food, it's normally not food. So I would say if you feel guilt in a daily basis, that is something that can be treated, that can be worked on. So I would first recommend being aware of it and checking in if that is something that happens just occasionally or that is something that happens all the time. But then I would recommend to take a step forward and treat that because it's taking so much energy
Mm,
in this person's life because I've been there, and it takes so much space. Like thinking about food the whole day, programming your social activities depending on the food. So my advice would be first check in how important it is, and then take action and
mm.
find help because it can be solved and the life can change so much. Like you can really feel confident, you can feel free. You don't need to be thinking about food the whole time. Food becomes just food, and that's amazing because you can
Enjoyable.
actually enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I
Yeah.
find also food very social. It's a social thing.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
because I grew up in Poland, and food was very family oriented, where you gather
Yeah.
family together, once every weekend. My family was kind of scattered, but we were only living about maybe 25 half an hour away from each other. So people would jump on a train and we would like have weekends at
Mhm.
someone's house. And then we have this massive feast, and Polish people like to eat.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
I grew up with that, and
yeah, same.
yeah.
Mhm.
So now, like you said, I think it's like we are so afraid of food, and it's
Mhm.
don't be afraid, just enjoy it, but you said
Mhm.
be conscious about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Everything comes from awareness. Like, that's why my brand is called Awake, because for me, it was an awakening to understand, oh my God, there's so much I can understand,
Mm,
like, so much I can work on just by being aware of my decisions. Like, everything comes from awareness. If you are not aware of something, you can't take action on it.
yeah,
You can't make the right choices.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, but it's funny because you're saying it's food is a social thing. It is so much because I live 5 months here, 5 months there, and then the 2 months that are left, I kind of go back and forth from where I am to home.
Mhm.
And the first thing I always do is go to my grandma's and have her food. So that's like the yeah,
Oh, grandma's food was always the best. I remember my grandma used to make
yes.
these they're almost like cinnamon rolls, but they were a little bit different. Oh, they were always baked in this wooden oven, and they were like
Oh my
so
God.
delicious. Oh my goodness, so delicious.
Mm.
Um, what I love asking people that question always about misconception, because there's always the positive, but there's always that other part of it that people misconstrue certain, healthy eating aspects, whatever. So, is there
Mhm.
any some common misconception that you have encountered when it comes down to healthy eating?
Um, I think right now it's kind of changing.
Mhm.
Um, but when I started, I myself used to think that eating healthy is boring, that eating healthy means eating less. I would say that's the best, the two top ones, I would say. Because healthy eating, it's not boring, and that's what me and my boyfriend do in the kitchen, because we work in the kitchen. So
Mhm.
aside of this job, I have my kitchen job. But that's actually what we preach and what we work on. You can't eat healthy without it being boring.
Mm,
And eating healthy doesn't mean eating less. It means eating according to your needs.
mm,
So first, understanding your needs that can change depending on your cycle, depending on what you're doing that day. Um, but yeah, that's what I would say.
mm. Well, you're a very good cook.
Thank you. I always forget that people try my food.
The Thanksgiving dinner in Nicaragua was absolutely amazing. It was
Thank you.
delicious. um,
Thank you.
what are some practical steps someone can take to start their journey towards food freedom?
Okay. Um, First of all, starting to be aware of what's happening inwards. Um, if it is body image, uh, the problem towards food is body image because it's obviously very, very linked. Um, I would say changing the perspective you have towards yourself. And that is, for example, an exercise I always give to everyone. Um, Finding your anchor. So if you meditate and you get lost or you have a lot of thoughts, breath is your anchor. It brings you back to center. So when you are looking at yourself in the mirror, um, if you have a bad relationship with food, probably have a bad relationship with your body too. the first thing you do when you look at yourself in the mirror would be criticizing, going to what you don't like, and this is too big, and this is too thin, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, or I have that. So find something that you always like. For example, for me are my freckles. I don't think you can see them a lot here, but I have so many freckles in my face. So those are my anchor. So whenever I have a bad body image day, or whenever I see my reflection walking on the street and there's a mirror or like something you can see yourself, try to first go and check your anchor, because that will create a um,
Mm-hmm.
positive answer from your body. And then once you've done that, you can go and criticize whatever you want. But
Mm-hmm.
the first thing would be a um, positive something in your perspective of yourself. So just by doing this simple thing can help you a lot starting to develop a healthier relationship with yourself. Second, very important too, would be to not focusing on loving yourself. Because if you come from a place where it's hard for you to love yourself, to like what you see in the mirror, to feel comfortable in your clothes, to feel comfortable when you are in a social environment, to feel comfortable with eating, then don't try to love yourself, because that's going to be super hard.
It's artificial,
So I'm
right?
going to
It
just
won't
drop,
be real.
yeah,
Yeah.
it won't be real. So can you actually love someone if you don't respect this person? Probably not. So, first thing you have to try, or I invite you to try, is to treat yourself with respect. If you try to respect yourself, so if I'm hiding in between my clothes, am I respecting myself? If I am not giving my body the food that it wants, am I respecting myself? If I am talking myself from self criticism very harsh, am I respecting myself?
Mm,
So, question, when are you respecting yourself? Because when you achieve to respect yourself, then you can start loving yourself.
mm,
But without respect, it's impossible.
mm. I love this. Respect yourself
Hmm.
before you love yourself. This is very powerful.
Exactly.
Very powerful.
Hmm.
Would
Thank
there
you.
would there be any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
um, I think because I've been working on it, I would like to share my vision. Um, and that's what I base everything I do on. And my vision is a world where women feel confident in their bodies and make food choices from a place of self trust rather than fear, enabling them to live a more vibrant and authentic lives. So that's what I actually envision. Um, and that's what I preach everywhere. So I always say there's nothing more powerful than a woman that knows their worth and lives her truth.
This is very, very powerful. And I think we will, or we will try to get there one way or the other.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
sometimes takes longer for others, but I think we are going into that
Hmm.
direction for empowering ourselves,
Yes.
empower other women as well, because we are
Yeah.
women and we need to support each other. And it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, how can people reach you?
Yes, so I'm in process of building up my website. I will have something for sure in 2 to 3 months, but for now, the best way is through my Instagram, which is awake.bypau. Yeah, that's the best way. I'm always super keen to enable a conversation, to have a call, to whatever. I love genuine connections, so if anyone wants to have a conversation with me, I'm always open to it.
It always starts with a conversation. So, yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yes. Paula, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I
Hmm.
appreciate it. And
Thank
again,
you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you to you. It's been amazing. First time in a podcast.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.